Hello and welcome back to day 11 of our 30-day Accelerator. And what we're doing today is putting together a student welcome page that people are going to see after they purchase the offer for the product that you've been building. So let me share my account and we'll get into it. All right, so here we are back inside of my demo account and just a little bit of a recap from yesterday. So we're in the sales menu inside of offers, and we created this main offer here. I set mine at $197, and this offer is connected to that course product that I created. Okay, so we've got the offer. If I was to click into that, okay, this is the back end of the offer where we put a feature image. It's already connected to the product. We decided on the access date. And the default is that people who purchase go through to the student library. So what we're going to do is create a student welcome page that we can send them to instead. And we set up a few automations that give them a student tag and also subscribe them to a welcome email sequence that we wrote. Now, one of the other tasks I gave you was to click into the checkout, the edit checkout area, and have a little bit of a play around with customizing that. So this is the checkout with a small amount of customization. So you can see I put a banner image here. I changed the banner height to 300. I also overlaid my logo. Now this banner image here, I just used the same image that I used for the product banner, okay? So as not to make my life any more difficult than it needs to be. Similar to that product, if somebody is looking at this checkout on mobile view, they're not going to see this full banner, okay? If I was to preview it, oops, let me go up. So this is the preview on desktop. But if I was to just squeeze this up a little bit, you can see that the edges, move it over here, the edges get cut off, okay? All they see is the logo, and then it goes into asking for the price and the description about the offer. So just make sure when you are putting something into the banner here that it doesn't need to be seen in full. It doesn't perhaps like have interesting text that you want them to read, for example. Okay, patterns work really well for this banner on your checkout, and you actually don't have to have the banner at all. You could switch it off if you wanted to, and if I save that, just away. Okay, so you could just have the checkout itself with no banner. I'm going to put it back on. Because this background here is grey by default, I would probably, if I was going to spend some time designing a nice banner for this checkout, I'd probably go for a contrasting colour, like maybe this navy colour with some white patterns on top. Now, as far as this background being grey, you actually, there's no setting here to make that colour something different. It would require a little bit of coding. It's not difficult coding, but a little bit of coding to change the background color. If you would like to have a go at that, please feel free to reach out to me and I can tell you where to start. So all I've done is just worked with the native Kajabi features. So I've added a banner in here. I've changed the banner height. I uploaded my logo, which will resize on mobile. And then in the description area down here, oops, not in design, in here, page content. Okay, I just replaced the text that was there, the placeholder text, with a little bit of information about the program. Rather than saying they get 4 training modules, I actually listed what the modules were about. I would put some additional information into this section if you were going to use it around bonuses. You could put a little guarantee seal. You could upload it in there if you wanted to specify that there's like a 30-day money back guarantee. So make this area interesting. I still like emojis in place of bullet points. I just find that that looks a little bit more interesting. I will say though that the checkout builder of Kajabi is currently not that exciting. So when we get on to building out the sales page, which I think we'll make a start on either tomorrow or the next day, we're actually going to use Kajabi's new checkout pop-up, which means that people aren't actually going to come over to this page at all. They're just going to be able to put their payment details straight into a pop-up on the sales page, okay? But it doesn't hurt to know how to customize this checkout. Now, the other thing that I did over here in the sidebar is I added a little custom field that people will have to agree to before they purchase. And this custom field says, I understand that I'll be added to the email list of the Sassy Coach for the purpose of communicating with me on this purchase, and I can unsubscribe at any time. Now, so far, unless you go over to the site settings and make an edit that we're going to do in a second, people actually are not automatically subscribed to your contact list. And if people are buying something from you, you're probably going to want to send them that welcome email out of the marketing area, which is what we set up yesterday. And if they don't subscribe to your email list and check the box, they're not going to be added to your contact list as a subscriber, and they're not going to get that welcome email that we created yesterday. So what I wanted to do was add this checkbox, and I want to take this checkbox away so that they are added by default into the email list. Okay, so if we go back over into my site settings, up here. All right, so in order to auto subscribe them, that is done inside of your checkout settings. So if we go in there, all right, so right here where it says additional options, you can check this box. It says automatically sign up customers to your email list when they purchase a paid offer. This won't work on free offers, but if you're putting together paid offers, like we're working on now, then it will work. Now, if you check that box, you'll get a little warning from Kajabi around it, perhaps not being GDPR compliant. So I'm going to say, yes, I understand the risks. And because of those risks, that's the reason why over inside of the offer, I added that additional field. We go back over here so that people are acknowledging that I'm adding them to the contact list. So what I'm going to do now is just refresh. And you can see that subscribe checkbox has disappeared, and all they've got left to check is this one, and they won't be able to purchase the program without clicking that box. Okay, so just something to keep in mind and have a think about. If you would also like to do it this way, you need to make sure you have updated those checkout settings in your site settings. So I'm going to pop it out of here. Okay, so the other thing that we did yesterday, we created this welcome email sequence where they'll get one email on purchase, and then you could have another email a few days later just checking in. What we want to do today is create a welcome page. So I'm going to close out of here. All right, so inside of the website area, the website menu, into pages and into that landing tab, we currently have 2 pages here already. Okay, our interim homepage, which in my case was going to be a freebie, and the freebie confirmation page. Now, I would like to create in here a new page that's going to be the student welcome. Now, I'm going to work from one of my templates. So I went up here, I've clicked the upload template, and I've dragged and dropped my student welcome page template into there. And it now looks like this. Okay, so I would suggest in your account creating something similar to this. I just put a little banner image at the top, a little welcome blurb. Down here, I've got a spot for a video, like a welcome video that tells them what to do next while they're waiting for the program to start, or can they jump in straight away? How do they navigate the course? Think of this as like a housekeeping video. Then down here, I have added a couple of links. So one link to log in, one link to find the community that goes with this program. And then I've also put a bit of a blurb here around how to download and access the program on the Kajabi app. So they could download it for, let me just open up my little sidebar. Oops, like that. Okay, so I actually put the link in there for them, how they could find it in the Apple Store and how they could find it in the Google Store over here. Right, and then you would put there a link to your group, a link to log in. And you can see there where I've written /login, you don't actually have to put your full website /login. If you just put the /login, this button will take them to the login page of your website. And then down here, I've left a little spot to create a form where they could submit any questions that they might have at this point. Now, I don't have the form created, so I'm going to go and create the form now over here. And I know you guys have already watched me create forms in this account, but it doesn't hurt to do it a second time. So up here, a new form. And you'll probably reuse this form in a number of places on your website. You don't have to create a new contact form every time you want to add a contact form on your website. I'm going to change it down here to single opt-in. When it uploads, updates, there we go. All right, now by default, the form is going to ask for their name and their email. I'm just going to add a form field. It'll be a new field. I'm going to go with something very boring like message. And in here, rather than text, change it to text area, because text is like a single line of text. We actually want them to be able to comfortably write a paragraph. So I'm going to go with text area. I'm going to make that field required so that they can't send me a blank form. And then save. And then just before we jump out of here, I'm going to make sure that after they submit their form, I actually get notified. So make sure in this after submission area, you check that first box and you put your email address in. And it needs to turn gray like that. And save, okay? So that way, when somebody does send you a question on that student welcome page, you'll actually receive the notification and you can get back to them. So now, once you've got your form created, you can come back over to that student welcome page where we've got a gap for the form, and you'll be able to select your form from the drop-down. And I think it's doing something weird. Oh, hang on. Okay, you'll be able to select your form from the drop-down and the form is going to populate here. So name, email, message. Now, after they send the message through to you, where do you want them to go? You could go an extra step and create a contact confirmation page. If you do that, you'll do it inside of your landing pages again, so in here. And if I just refresh, we're going to see that student welcome page showing in the list here. Okay, so you could go and create a new landing page, which is a confirmation page for your student welcome. If you've done that, in here, you would choose landing page and you'd specify that contact confirmation page in here. Now, I don't have one, so I'm just going to leave that blank. All right, but just so you know, you could if you wanted to. And then we're going to save this. Now, if you don't create a confirmation page for people to see after they submit the form, I'll just show you what happens. So wait for this to load. Okay, so they hit the welcome page, they come all the way down, and they're like, yes, actually, I do have a question. Yeah. And then they click submit. Oh, okay. It's like this. Okay, so then they just go through to this gray screen, okay? And from there, they can go back to the previous page, all right? But it would be much nicer to have a confirmation page if you've got the time to create one. Now, once we've got that student welcome page in your account, I'm going to jump out of here and we're going to go back to pages and I'm going to click these three little dots over here on the right, and we're just going to update the page name. Make it a little bit neater than what it shows after I imported Sassy Bucks welcome page. And I'm just going to change this to welcome. Now, this particular page, I don't really need it to show up in a Google search result. So just a reminder to uncheck this little toggle if you don't want Google to find it and serve it up to people on when they're doing their Google searches. I'm going to save this. All right, so now, okay, so one last step to go. We've now got that page sitting inside the account with a nice name and a nice URL. And now what we need to do is go back into the offer that we were setting up yesterday. We're in the details tab and we scroll down, and where it says post-purchase, send them to the student library after they've purchased your offer. We're just going to swap that to an existing landing page and we're going to choose that new welcome page from the list. and save that. Okay, so a little recap on what we did today. I just walked you through this edit checkout area. If you do want people to automatically get added to your email list after purchasing your paid offer, you would go into your checkout settings, in your settings, into checkout settings, and you would check on this box here, the additional options box that will automatically add them to your email list. Then we created a student welcome page, and I gave it a nice name and a nice URL. We created a form to go with the contact area on this page. That's completely optional. You don't have to do that if you can't be bothered. And then once we had this welcome page created, we went back into the offer, down here to the post-purchase area, and we made sure that we just linked it in here. All right, guys, that's all we're going to do today. What we're going to come back and do tomorrow is the customization of the student library. So what students are going to see after they log in, and we'll also do the login area. So both of those pages are inside of your website theme. Okay, so I will see you back tomorrow for day 12.